It came out. You want to know what? I'm gonna tell your mama to watch the live. I'm gonna text her right now. Be like, hey, I'm not a bully. She is. Okay. A bully. You're being a bully to me right now. Yeah. All right. Miss Fritz bullies me 24/7. Yes, she does. And it's on the live. I'm putting it on YouTube. She bullies me all the time. So she's mean to me. Okay. So we've got a lot of notes on this board over here, J-Cell. So I would honestly suggest, baby, that you come right over here and sit because we do have a lot of notes. Let me adjust this so we can make sure that those are being seen, or at least I can point them out when we talk. All right, so we are on section 3, changes to the Louisiana Constitution. And guys, have we had a lot? Okay, we actually ended last year talking about some changes that we had to the Louisiana Constitution. Because Louisiana, after the Civil War, we had made a very, very loose and fair constitution compared to many of the southern states.
Let her get it all out.
Nobody look at her.
Oh, so everyone took second.
All right. So Louisiana had one of the most fair constitutions right after the Civil War, racially speaking. Okay, African Americans had a lot of freedoms, which as they should have, of course, after the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. But compared to a lot of the other Confederate states that are coming out of the Civil War, Louisiana's was really the best. Okay, however, that again is reduced, okay, in the Constitution edit of 1868. Okay, so then they revise it again because apparently we just got to keep changing the Louisiana Constitution. And they do that in 1879, where they really start to undermine the participation politically of African Americans. So in the Constitution of 1879, they're putting along the restrictive measures and they're adding that Jim Crow law we talked about, the poll tax. Okay, we are adding a poll tax that is required in the Constitution. They are also removing any ban of segregation. Okay, so we talked about segregation yesterday. All right, so there was some things that was stopping that. Now it's going into the Constitution that you cannot ban segregation. You will let that go. It is completely legal. Then the Constitution also banned a superintendent of a school district. Okay, I know, right? Like, wait a minute. Why? Why do you think banning a superintendent of a school district is going to be better for the state at this point in time in history? What are they trying to make the schools do? Segregate. They're trying to make the schools segregate. Do you think that is something that everybody likes?
No.
Do you think that maybe there could be some superintendents who don't plan on segregating the schools?
Yeah.
So if he gets rid of the superintendent, then that means all the school districts have to follow along with what the state's rules are. Okay, so they're going to go ahead and get rid of that. And now a lot of those educational gains that are for all students, they're not going to get those anymore because the superintendents aren't going to be hyper local enough to make sure that they happen. Yes. Huh?
Bro.
Isn't that whenever they separate the
Yeah, remember segregation is creating separate spaces for whites and blacks. Okay, so right here, we talked about yesterday, there's segregation: schools, restaurants, drinking fountains, theaters, okay, bathrooms. All right, now if that's not bad enough, 1879, they changed that. They're going to edit it again. They're going to edit it after our Supreme Court case that is very, very important that I'm going to ask you about all the time, which is, yes, Plessy versus Ferguson. Good job, Bartholomew.
Hey.
Okay. And of course, this is going to make Plessy versus Ferguson is going to be in effect for quite a few years, and it's going to affect a lot of things. So then in 1898, we get another Louisiana Constitution, because apparently all of these things that we're putting on there is not enough. And then they add property ownership as a requirement for voting. So we've added that to the Jim Crow law list, where what are they trying to do? They're trying to create poll taxes, literacy tests, the grandfather clause, right? If your grandfather was free before the Civil War, you could still vote. We have segregation. Now we have property ownership, meaning that if you did not own property specifically in your name, you could not vote. And the literacy test comes in, the grandfather clause comes in. So remember, before it was just the poll tax. And at that time, when it was just the poll tax, Louisiana at least had 130,000 African Americans registered to vote. 130,000 African Americans were registered to vote in 1890 prior to the new Constitution. The new Constitution gets written. This is where we have literacy tests, grandfather clause, property ownership. And by 1900, only 5,320 African Americans in the state of Louisiana could vote.
That's exactly.
Okay. It goes from 180,000 to 5,280. No, sorry, 5,320. So my question is if you are an African American at this time, do you even bother voting? Because is your vote going to matter? Okay. The other thing that African Americans are going to be dealing with, even if they did decide to vote, that 5,000, is that they're still going to be intimidated at the polls. Okay. Even though in theory their vote is not necessarily going to make anything change, especially when it comes down to like governor, maybe some local elections for sure, but the presidential election, not going to matter. Governors, senators, okay? That 5,000 is not going to make necessarily a dent in a very big election. But even when they did go to vote, even after they were able to pass all of these things, they're going to be intimidated at the polls, okay? They could be beaten, all right? Normally, they're not going to talk about what they're going to vote. These are not isolated events. We are not the only state that this happened to. Okay. A lot of states in the South were doing this. They were going through and just changing their constitution to make it more restrictive and more restrictive every single time. Effectively, in doing this, African Americans were not going to vote. They're not going to hold office. They're not going to receive an equal education. Okay. And this has a very harmful effect of African Americans in the state, basically because if anything was going to need to be done to help African Americans in any way, shape, or form, they had to hope that the white people that were in office were going to stick up for them. Okay, so this is going to be a very long fought battle for African Americans for sure. So the questions here for your Think, Pair, Share, let's actually start here, 1879. What race-based restrictive measures were added to the Louisiana Constitution in 1879? What was the first thing that they added in 1879? Talk about it at your table. See if you can figure it out.
Okay.
Parker, go find somebody to talk with. You want to be in the back of the bus all by yourself, all cool and stuff, and then when you ain't got nobody to talk to. It's cool now. The back of the bus is the place I wanted to be at when I was in high school. I was not bad. You don't even know me. You don't know me. You don't know what I was like. I was a great student.
I can tell you very high back right now. And you're a little.
What about my mustache? My mustache is awesome.
Oh, yeah. And plus, it can't be that hard to find stuff about you and your life. already know.
All we have to do is go look up yearbook in the newspaper.
So,
The newspapers.
So,
Strawberries.
What?
So she have you ever been to jail?
If I ever, I used to work at the jail.
My mom.
See, when you're arrested, how about arrested?
I worked as a correctional officer.
That's not what we're asking.
You have it about CL. Where am I mom CL?
I was in Texas. I didn't work at a women's prison. No.
Oh, she would have thought that.
What happened in Canada?
What?
The guy's
You
muscles.
told us a story about what happened in Canada. I
I
forgot.
bet she won.
Something happened in Canada, you almost got arrested or something?
Did you just want to see the muscles of the guys so they were fat all the
Last
time?
year, you told us a story about you going to
Mom
Canada.
needs to talk about
I've never almost gotten arrested in Canada. Parker, were you asleep?
No.
What?
You told us a story about Canada.
No,
I might be.
I wasn't here for that.
What?
Listen, I have never almost been arrested in Canada. All right. Next question. How did the Louisiana Constitution change between when it was first established in 1898? So what kind of changes are we seeing in this? Okay, so we talked about the one in 1879. Okay, now what else are we adding to it?
They're adding separate things like blacks and whites. They probably made.
Don't talk to me. I already know the answer. Talk to them.
Um,
See if you're right.
am I right though?
Uh,
Question talking.
uh, They should be able to tell you. Y'all.
We can tell you.
Yeah, let's see. 1773.
Okay. Now the next question is this change to that constitution, adding property ownership. How does that disenfranchise African Americans? Remember, disenfranchise means take away the vote. Okay? Yeah. Okay. How does making property ownership take away the vote to African Americans? Kayla, go swipe.
You swipe too many.
There is no swiping tomorrow.
We fly the sun.
Okay, let's move on to our next section, okay, which is historically black colleges and universities and Louisiana's HBCUs. Okay, what is an HBCU? Okay, historically black college and universities. All right. So these hold a very important, and we talked about this a very, very little bit last chapter when we talked about the Morrell Land Grant, where the federal government was giving land for colleges. So HBCUs are very important. They're founded to basically counteract discrimination in schools. So when they started saying that blacks could not go to school with whites, okay, they had to create separate schools that included college as well. So the first HBCU that was ever created was called the Institute for Colored Youth, and it is now called Cheyney University, and it was founded in 1837 in Cheyney, Pennsylvania. So it is quite old. As a matter of fact, in 10 years, it'll be 200 years old. So that's quite a big deal for that school. Now, in 10 years, in 2037, it'll be 200 years old. Now, there is a show. Anybody have Prime Video? Okay, so there's a show called The Gilded Age that is on Prime, and it is actually, the show really will get you into a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about in book 2. But one of the characters that is in that show actually says that she went to the Institute for Colored Youth, which is pretty cool. But it's a really cool show about life in like 1880s, 90s, 1910. A little bit of drama in it, but it is period. So like it means that it's not okay. What? No, it means that yeah, like yes, thank you.
That's a little too far. It's gonna feel like,
So
black and white.
the costumes are really cool. It's set in New York. It's a really good story. Lots of drama in it. You might actually like it if you tried it. But like I said, as we're getting into a lot of these issues that we're talking about, you're actually going to see a lot of this stuff in this book and the second book in that show. Yes. Did it? I know what you're going to ask. I'm already going to talk about it. Don't worry.
Okay, I was so confused.
Don't worry. You're fine. We're not missing a page. Okay. Numerous other HBCUs are later established, mostly in southern states. And these are going to embrace the mission of providing African Americans education, opportunities, sense of empowerment. They were often denied in other institutions of higher learning. So HBCUs have produced generations of African American doctors, lawyers, educators, scientists, artists, and other leaders who have made a remarkable contribution to various fields. I'm going to bounce back to that in just a second. There are 100 HBCUs that continue to educate African American students, as well as students of other races. HBCUs have been important in advancing social and racial equality in the United States, and students and faculty within these institutions actively challenge racism and discrimination in the American education system and society. They play a vital role in preserving and celebrating African American history, culture, and heritage, while also fostering a sense of belonging and community for African Americans. HBCUs have cultivated their legacy as learning environments that are free from bias and supportive of academic and personal growth. So my question to you is, Louisiana has 6 HBCUs. And I know that I've asked you guys about this before. My question is, can you name any of these HBCUs? All right, what you got? Southern University, yes. No, that one. We're talking Louisiana. That's not an HBCU, but I know how you're remembering that. Huh? Not in Louisiana. Nope. Remember, we talked about what you guys are catching is with a conversation we had a week and a half ago when we were talking about the land grants. Grambling, yes. Grambling is in Shreveport. Southern is Baton Rouge. And remember, I told you, if you want to go be a lawyer, go to Southern. Best dang law program in the state of Louisiana. Okay. So the other ones we have is Dillard University. Okay. Okay. Kalina, you cannot just get into there because your last name is similar.
Why? I have free access.
Hey, listen, maybe your ancestors set it up. Like maybe you should do some.
Am I important?
You might be important.
Why am I being important? Like, so why am I not written?
Well, are teachers rich?
No. Well, like.
All right. There's also Southern University in New Orleans, Southern University in Shreveport, and then Xavier University, which is in New Orleans. These schools offer a variety of undergraduate and graduate programs, produce many notable alumni, and in addition, these institutes provide an economic boost to the state's economy, generating more than 8,000 jobs and many millions of dollars in spending with the surrounding communities. Okay, I have been asked, so what, white people can't go? Yes, you can. You can go to any HBCU, okay, if that is where you want to go. So it's up to you. All of them are really great institutions and definitely worth looking into depending on your degree or your degree path. So what was Louisiana's first HBCU?
I don't know.
Cheney University.
No, that's the country's
Dillard?
first.
Oh, I thought, there was the Southern.
Southern.
Hey, I thought it was the Baton and New Orleans.
Okay. And Shreveport. But the Southern and Baton Rouge is the first one. All right. How is it that HBCUs were able to counteract the years of segregation and political disenfranchisement experienced by African Americans? Okay. What are these colleges able to provide to help offset?
You should let me have everything. Because, like, you know, how to do that.
I think you should answer this question.
I think you should HBC.
And it's on the board.
Oh. The answer wasn't this a franchise mean? It
made like a better. Okay. So the thing is political disenfranchisement.
That's a vocab word that we talked about yesterday.
Oh, well, like I asked about it yesterday. French fries.
And what is it?
I don't know.
I answered you yesterday.
What's the answer?
That's-
Really did it? It's French fries.
What is political disenfranchisement? I also said what it is today.
Oh, isn't it?
I know what it is.
Depriving somebody of voting. Thank you, Mar.
Okay. So
well, Mara's a genius, so
We read it yesterday.
African-Americans.
That was you chose basketball life over.
yeah.
It gave them what the political people.
You stand like this?
Wait.
Like this?
I got the answer.
Basically, like,
No, we
like that.
Who does this? Who did this? Because I have the answer.
I don't remember. I think I did.
Oh,
this.
oh, missed 1 year in basketball. You were talked.
And then I think stood on the ball.
Actually, that's the
Yeah, what did you do? What did you do? Huh?
Did I?
With the ball right here.
I think I
No,
did this.
you did
Who are you pointing at? Who are you?
The
Yeah.
camera.
So you had the finger in front of your face like this?
No.
I was only when I did. No, I was. I think it's on the
We
ball.
can tell you what I did.
This is the
When
one
I
I
did
did.
her.
Oh yeah, and the ball was on her feet.
How are they supposed to put that on a banner?
Huh? And then the ball was on my feet.
No,
Are we seniors? We're not seniors.
Yeah, we're not
seniors.
seniors.
All right, let's keep going.
Yeah, I got the answer.
What?
Okay. Are you okay?
Okay, let's have a seat. Are you okay?
Hey guys, let's focus.
Thank you. This live is all over the place. Say.
Anyways, the answer is-
Oh, look, Colby's on our live. Hi, Colby.
Colby, go home.
Colby is already home.
But I don't like you.
Oh wait, I got the answer.
Okay. Show this video to your mom.
Miss got the
Okay.
answer.
I do want to know what your answer is.
Okay,
Yes.
the answer is that the HBCU gave what the
Okay. Good try. Thank you. All right. Does anybody wait? Does anybody know this? How HBCUs helped change the political disenfranchisement? What you think?
I just love my train of thought. Thank you, Emma. Yeah, I just watched it.
It sounds like college gave them what the people didn't get.
Our class full of geniuses.
Mar, what do you think? Maybe you could help us out.
Yay,
Hey, help us out, Mar. How does an HBCU able to help out with the people who are feeling segregation and political disenfranchisement?
I think it allows them to, it gives them a place where they can kind of like be together and whatnot.
Okay.
I can't hear you.
Keep. Okay, they're going to get education. They're going to be able to join together and talk about what is going on, maybe come up with ways that they could fight the situation. Okay, go ahead and swipe. And your question, of course, is very similar to what that one was how did the HBCUs help African Americans overcome barriers that created segregation?
I just said,
No, Nope. Now it's on the guiding question. You have to do that by yourself. Swipe it again. Okay. So on the page right next to HBCUs, it says section 7. And then it says assimilation and rebellion. Cross out 7, write 5. Now cross out assimilation and rebellion and write an uphill battle for civil rights. An uphill battle for civil rights. It's the next section and the last section in your book. You have a Venn diagram on this page comparing two people who are civil rights leaders that you probably have not yet heard about yet.
I know
I've
Booker
heard
T.
about
Washington.
Washington.
Okay, we've heard Booker T. Washington. Good.
I've been to Niagara Falls.
Oh yeah, what happened there?
Waterfalls.
Is there a reason why you brought up Niagara Falls while we were?
I do. It says it's the Niagara movement, but Niagara like Niagara Falls. It's
I really
not
thought
where-
you were going to tell me you went somewhere while you were up there, and I was like, "Ooh, cool! Tell us about it."
Oh. No.
I've been to Niagara Falls too.
Oh.
What'd you do?
The Niagara Falls.
All right.
Where is that at? Isn't that like somewhere like up
It's like
in
in Minnesota.
up north?
It's in New York.
New York.
Yeah, I was
No.
born in New York.
Hey, oh,
I
wow.
haven't been what I need is my
Concrete jungles where dreams are made of. Right.
I think Colby's learning so much.
Colby, I don't even think Colby's here anymore right now. He says I need to do live in his class, and I'm not doing that for 7th hour. Okay. So the next 5 pages that we are going to read are going to answer this entire Venn diagram. Also, the information is already written on the board
all of it. Oh,
on the 8th grade side.
you read all of that?
Well, I mean, pay attention. And when I go over there, hey, if you pay attention to me while I'm over there, you'll be able to write it down as I'm talking about it. Okay. All right. So go ahead and swipe. No, wait, no, do not swipe. Okay. I thought we were still back on the other thing. All right. So Reconstruction happens, and it ends up being a pretty big, huge step back after the Civil War. Rights are gained, then they're taken away. But we end up getting 2 leaders in the beginning of the African American civil rights movement named Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. I say Du Bois because it's like French, but he is actually referred to as W.E.B. Du Bois. Okay? But Du Bois sounds French.
I've been doing French on Duolingo, so like. I'm on section.
What does
2.
that say?
Hey, listen to me.
I can't read your handwriting.
I'm going to go over there and say what it says. Focus. Don't worry. You can go back and watch the live, and then you could slow it down. So I talk like this. Okay. All right. We have Booker T. Washington, W.E.B. Du Bois, and they are both working towards the same mission. And that mission, of course, is equality, to get rid of segregation, open up educations for African Americans, equal rights. Okay? Let's start with Booker T. Washington. Yeah?
Wait, my cousin.
No, we're not. That's why I just told you to change section 7 to 5.
Were you not listening? No. When I was younger, my cousin would call me Boogers.
All right. So here we go. Booker T. Washington. He was actually born in slavery. Okay?
No way.
What are you looking at?
My hand.
What's in your hand?
Nothing.
Answers.
You got the answers.
I just literally told you the first thing to write in that Venn diagram, but you're too busy looking at what's going on in your side.
I wrote it already.
Then pay attention to the rest of the things I'm talking about. Okay. He was born into slavery. Okay. After the slaves were freed, he ended up creating what is called the Tuskegee Institute. It's in Alabama. Okay. It's in your book if you don't know how to spell it. We're reading along at the same time. So he is the director and teacher of the Tuskegee Institute. And the Tuskegee Institute is not just an academic school, but it is a vocational school. So this is a place where African Americans can learn things like carpentry, brick making, printing, home economics, kind of like things that would be considered blue collar today, is things that you can learn at the Tuskegee Institute.
Construction.
Could be. Yeah, I mean, that carpentry is. Okay.
She said what's
All right. And Booker T. Washington believed that education is number one. That is how you are going to be able to break through a lot of these segregation laws is through education. To gain equality rather than directly challenge political disenfranchisement and social segregation in the South. Booker T. Washington is very much so on the nonviolent type protest train. This is going to come up again when we talk about civil rights in the 1950s, because there's going to be two very different civil rights leaders in the 1960s. All right. One is going to be nonviolent protest. One is going to be a little bit more aggressive. Okay. Booker T. Washington is our nonviolent protester. Okay. Education is number one. He gives a speech in Atlanta, Georgia in 1895. And he says, to those of my race who underestimate the importance of cultivating friendly relations with the Southern white man, I would say, cast down your bucket where you are. Cast it down in making friends in every manly way of the people of all races by whom you are surrounded. Cast it down in agriculture, mechanics, commerce, domestic service, in the professions, because no race can prosper till it learns that there is as much dignity in tilling the field as in writing a poem. It is at the bottom of life we must begin and not at the top. So what Booker T. Washington is telling African Americans is, listen, first of all, foster friendships. Try to foster as many friendships as you can, even with white people, and learn as much as you can. Fill your bucket, learn farming, learn mechanics, learn how to run a business, okay? Learn how to run a house. Learn every profession that you can, because every single profession, no matter what, is important, okay? And he says we've got to start building that up, okay? Meaning that, listen, if you're going to be a carpenter, be the best darn carpenter that's out there, okay? So that really, in theory, if somebody wants to build a house and you are the best at what you do, it does not matter what color of skin you are. They're going to hire you because just flat out, you're the best. All right? That's a big deal to him, which is be friends, be smart, and be educated. Okay? Some people did not like Booker T. Washington. They said that he was an accommodationist. Okay, an accommodationist is one who compromises or adapts to the attitude of somebody else. They claimed that Booker was just conforming to the white man. Okay, that he was just letting the white man tell him what to do, and he didn't have enough pushback. And then here comes W.E.B. Du Bois. Now, he's very different. He was not born a slave. In fact, he was able to go get his doctorate at Harvard University. So a very completely different background that he has.
Was it easier to get into like Harvard back then? Because there's less requirements.
Harvard's in Boston.
I feel like it'd be harder.
I'm so sorry, it just popped in my head.
I don't know the requirements back then. So that it's a very interesting question, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay.
Boston wasn't that smart. Princeton is in.
I feel like they're intense.
Isn't Prince? I don't know where Princeton. Listen, I'm smart, but I wasn't going to one of those.
I thought Harvard was in California. I'm going to Texas State.
I'm going to Super.
No, Brown is in Rhode Island. Harvard is in Boston. NYU is in New York. Berkeley, that's not an Ivy League, is it? Stanford's in New York.
Yale.
But where's Yale?
I don't know.
If I get a 4.0 after high school, can I go to Princeton or Harvard?
That depends. What are you going to get on your ACT? What kind of community service do you do? What kind of extra curriculars do you do?
Basketball.
Are you good?
Yes. No. She's good at softball. She's good at softball.
Good. Get a 4.0, get a 34 on your ACT, and then you can go. Okay. All right. Lord, I never should have went live in this. This is a cluster right now. Man. Okay. Yes. It's a test. A test you got to take to get into college. Guys, hey, pause. Listen. We go off on a lot of tangents. We got to stop. What I need you guys to do is start writing all your tangent questions down and then asking me after the lesson is done.
You're right, Teach.
Because we're all, I don't even know where I stopped. Okay. So W.E.B. Du Bois, he had a doctorate from Harvard. Okay. And he wrote that the biggest problem of the 20th century is the problem of the color line, which is the segregation and racism that divided Americans. Okay. He says the number one issue is racism that is going on right now. Du Bois believed that the best strategy was for only the talented and highly educated African Americans to lead and inspire. Okay. So by that, is Booker T. Washington, is he highly educated?
Yes. No.
Not compared to Du Bois, right? He's got a doctorate degree. Booker T does not. He was a former slave and he's running a vocational school. So as far as he can concerned, they weren't even on the same level to even talk about things. He wrote a book in 1903 called The Souls of Black Folk, and he basically calls out Booker T. Washington. And he says, Mr. Washington's doctrine has tended to make the whites, North and South, shift the burden of the Negro problem to the Negro's shoulders and stand aside as critical spectators, when in fact the burden belongs to the nation, and the hands of none of us are clean if we do not work on righting these great wrongs. So Booker basically says that, or W.E.B. says that what Booker has done is he's talked to too many white people and he has allowed Black people to say, well, all of this that's going on is because of us and we need to fix it. Shouldering that burden, putting that on here. Versus saying, no, this is everybody's problem. This is white people's problem too. All right. In 1905, Du Bois went to Buffalo, New York, to have a civil rights meeting, and the hotel would not accommodate him. The hotels would not let him in. So this segregation, guys, it's not just in the South. Here you have Buffalo, New York. So if you look at the map over there, find Michigan, that's the mitten, okay? Where Canada, it's the light green. Where Canada comes down and meets Michigan, if you go straight across to the right, you'll see another little piece that hits New York, and that's where Buffalo is. That's where Niagara Falls is. So they're in Buffalo. Buffalo says, yeah, no, you guys can't come in here and have this meeting. So they cross over the bridge and go to Ontario, Canada. And Ontario, Canada allows them to have their meeting. Okay, they create a civil rights organization called the Niagara Movement. Okay. And this organization, okay, specifically was just out there to push out Booker T. Washington. Okay. They did not like his approach to equality, and they instead were pushing for immediate legal change. Du Bois wanted to do it slowly. He's not wanting to rock the boat. Okay. When he's like, hey, look, make friends, prove to them who you are. And W.E.B. is like, no, listen, we're going to get this in law right now, immediately. Okay, we need to change it. So he's a lot more aggressive with it. 3 years later, in 1908, a deadly race riot occurs in Springfield, Illinois. Thousands of white people burned the homes and businesses of African Americans and killed 2 Black people by lynching. Now, lynching is the killing of a person by a mob. It does often end in hanging, but it could be any kind of killing that is done by a mob. So a mob could be throwing you on the ground and kicking you. The mob this has happened in Texas, not far away. African Americans were dragged behind trucks. Okay. That is still considered lynching, even though it doesn't end in hanging. Just a lot of them did. So a lot of people associate the word lynching with hanging. But it's any kind of violence or murder by a mob
Why did they do that?
because they're evil people.
Like me. Do we just like owe them something? We owe them a sorry.
No,
So
Who?
We owe them. Why did
Who?
they do it?
because they're jerks.
So it's like find us on the set. So but they just like take you off the street and just like tie you up to a truck and drag you miles.
Some of them did. Yeah. Some of them would accuse you of things, and we'll talk about that.
So
Well, we're gonna see some very interesting things during the civil rights movement lesson.
Let's pretend I'm walking on the street. They see me. They're gonna pick me up and throw me in a van, and then they're gonna tie me up and throw me out the van and drag me.
Yeah, back then they could have.
Why?
What do you mean? Why? You're asking me to explain evil, and I can't because it's evil. Okay.
Our project when we did on the end of the year, didn't it end with like us like whatever the word is, like John Brown?
No.
Stop it overnight.
It
No, we
was.
didn't.
No. So you're talking about would he have been executed?
Like,
You guys would not have. Oh, if I see what you're talking about. Okay. Yes. So if you would have organized it, would you have created a lynch mob? Yes. Okay. Yes, the lynch mob could have been created, and then therefore, in theory, in our role play, you guys would have dragged John Brown out, maybe behind the wagon. Everybody beat him, and then he probably would have been hung. Yes, that is a lynch mob. Okay, that did not happen. Okay, and just for anybody watching, no, we don't actually drag anybody out of the classroom. Okay, so let's keep going. The event inspired members of the Niagara movement, along with other African Americans and even some white civil rights activists. And they created what is called the NAACP, okay, which is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. The NAACP is another civil rights activist association that works on ending segregation, works on passing legislation or judicial rulings that is going to help fight against discrimination of African Americans. Du Bois is also a longtime editor of the NAACP's magazine, which was called The Crisis. Now, let's take a look at the two women at the bottom of your page, Ida B. Wells and Mary Church Terrell. Yeah, if you were open to the right page.
I am. I thought she was this. Why does Edith's hair look like that? Because that's how her hair was.
Edith,
Ida.
Ida,
Because she's black. Why else?
she is black.
Mary Churchill. Oh, I couldn't say. That's
Okay.
not Mary Churchill.
Churchill?
Where do they both have them?
It was like
Okay.
every old person's name who got like in like the 19 like the 18 in the like Mary. You know what I'm trying to say? Always had the like in this always had the name Mary.
Lots of them are Marys. Yeah, lots of Marys. Okay, so Ida B. Wells and Mary Church Terrell, both African American women. What is going on inside your head that I say they're both African American women and you say what, murder?
She's African American.
Yes.
Mary looks white. Wait, there's a woman. She looks Asian. She looks white. Is Mary white? She looks Caucasian. She looks Korean. She looks white. She looks Korean. Wait, where was her? I don't look black.
Guys, we have 5 minutes to finish this. So I really need y'all to quiet because I got this done earlier. I don't know. This is really bad. Never should have went live in here. Okay. So we have two women, Ida B. Wells, Mary Terrell. Okay. Ida was also born into slavery. She went to a freedmen's school. Okay. We talked about the freedmen's school, the freedmen buildings after the Civil War. She was a teacher at 14 years old. There is not one of you in this room that I would,
Mark.
Latiana, I would trust you.
You the
Okay.
only two people
I'd be the funniest.
But the rest of y'all to teach school at 14 years old, absolutely not.
Excuse you, I can trust me.
No. See, you guys can't even be quiet right now. How are you going to lead a
I
class?
can quiet the whole time.
Okay.
I can teach.
All right.
I taught my
Shh. Okay. Well, you want to know what? Evelyn too. You can be a teacher. Okay. I'm talking about women. I'm talking about the women.
Oh.
Okay. Ida B. Wells was also one of the co-founders of the NAACP with W.E.B. Du Bois in 1908. Then we have Mary Terrell. Now, Mary was not born into slavery. Her parents were enslaved. So she did have a little bit of understanding about that, but she herself was not. And her motto was lifting as we climb. She believed that if you are being elevating and you are elevating yourself, that you are making sure that you are lifting somebody up with you. She focused on education. It was very important that everybody could get as much education as possible. She was also a suffragette or a suffragist.
I know what that means.
Okay. She was pushing for equal votes for all. So men and women, no matter their race or gender. Now, she and Ida both created together what is called the NACW, which is the National Association of Colored Women. Okay. The push for civil rights in the post-Reconstruction era was difficult. Leaders faced constant resistance, but their work moved forward. The work of African American activists at the time laid a foundation for the eventual victories of the civil rights movement of the 1950s. Shh. Their relentless pursuit of justice paved the way for social change and inspired future generations to continue the fight for civil rights. Okay, so what was the purpose of the Tuskegee Institute? Explain the difference between Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois. Okay, you guys should be able to do that if you filled out your Venn diagram. I cannot do questions right now. What was the goal of the Niagara movement? Okay, these are all questions that you should be able to answer. Okay, go ahead and swipe for me, please. Okay, why was the NAACP established? And then, of course, what issues did Ida B. Wells focus on? And why did Mary Church Terrell campaign for both civil rights and votes? Your guys' guiding question for this one, go ahead and swipe, is how did Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois differ in their approaches to achieving equality for African Americans? Okay, so everything that should have been in that Venn diagram is already written on the board. It's all right there, my friend. You don't have one thing written. Okay, the Venn diagram is the circle. Okay, all right, we'll see you tomorrow.